guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I last posted a tutorial on here. So today's tutorial is actually going to be about how you can utilize the skin tone tab in Capture One. And I want to show you guys today how you can use the skin tone tab to color correct skin tones. Now, I think that this can be a difficult thing to do across lots of different programs, but I really want to show you a short and sweet option of doing it in Capture One today. And it's something that works very, very effectively. And it's something that I use all the time for retouching my beauty portraits. Now, for those of you who don't know, most of my workflow and my initial raw processing goes through Capture One these days. I don't tend to use Lightroom as much, and I don't tend to use Camera Raw. I do this now because I really enjoy using Capture One. I do find that the interface really suits me, and I find that the program has a lot of power when it comes to color in particular. Now, as I said, today we're going to be working with the skin tone tab. So for those of you who haven't used Capture One much or are not sure where this tab is, it is under the color tab up the top here. So you've got your exposure on this side, which a lot of people will utilize as well, but the color tab is where everything color related is underneath. So we're going to go down to color editor here. So this is where we're going to be working. This is where the tab is for skin tone, just underneath the third one across. Now, as we can see in this particular image, the white balance is a little bit off in this photo, but we can use the skin tone tab in Capture One to color correct this. And I want to show you guys how you can actually use this tool overall. So what you're going to do with this tool is you're going to use it to pick the skin color out, so the actual base color for the skin tone. So I'm just going to move it around here and click here, just in the mid-tone area, just to make sure it picks up most of those tones. So we can see down here that it has selected a particular color from the image, and that's the color the program is going to use as the base to alter the skin tone from this point on. So once we've got our color selected from the skin tone, and you can see that it comes up here on the color wheel as well as to where it's located, we're going to start altering some of these sliders down below. So in particular, the hue, saturation, and lightness under the amount. We're not going to do too much with the uniformity tab. I don't tend to use this as much. It's mainly these three sliders here that we're going to work with. So we can see in this particular image that there is a lot of yellow in the image, and it's really quite overly warm. I don't want there to be too much yellow in these parts of the skin tone, and I really feel like we need to alter that to bring that down a little bit and even out the skin tone a little bit more. We can do this first of all by going to hue. Now, hue is going to kind of remove a little bit more of that yellow tint that I was talking about a second ago. So if we move the hue slider this way, you can see that it's turning the skin tone a little bit more pinker. And then if we go this way, it's adding a little bit more green, a bit more yellow. So we are actually going to move the slider this way to add a little bit more pink back into the skin tone. And it's only going to affect tones associated with this base color. So you'll notice that it will alter most of the skin tone here when I go like this and like this. So we're going to keep it on this side, kind of bringing some of those pinkish tones back into the skin. And then we're going to drop the saturation down a bit. Now be careful with this particular slider, as it can look too desaturated and you don't want to make the skin tone looking sickly. So you want to make sure that it does kind of sit within that healthy looking range, and I think I'm just going to move it around about to there. And then here with the lightness tab, you can move this down and up. I do tend to find that moving it down adds a little bit more detail into the skin tone, which for beauty photography, as you guys know, I love. I love getting as much texture and detail into the skin. So I am going to move it down just slightly. And hopefully that will bring out some of the freckles as well on the model's skin tone. Now under uniformity here, we have the hue slider. So you can move this up and you can see what it kind of does. It tends to push more of the color tone that we've gotten from the hue section across most of the image and across most of the skin tone. So you can see that there's more pink, more red that's sort of coming through there in the skin. I don't think we should really move this one too much, maybe just a little bit. But honestly, not too much overall, otherwise it will start looking very uniform and too monotone. And then here, if you notice, the saturation becomes more uniform as well. So the more we push this, the more the saturation kind of bumps up overall in the image. But once again, we're not going to alter this one too much. We're going to kind of move it around this section here. And then same thing with the lightness as well, although this is definitely a slider that I don't tend to use as much because it does kind of make the image look flat and less contrasted, which is really not what I want. So the one thing that I would say I tend to go back and tweak the most is the saturation. If I've added too much saturation in or not enough, I will tweak this particular slider a little bit more, but I actually feel like we're kind of sitting at a good spot around about here. And that is how you can use the skin tone tab in Capture One to color correct skin tones. Now, I really want to show you guys a before and after now so you can get a really good feel for what we've done here today. So this is the before image. You can see it's quite yellow and orange, especially in the shadows and darker midtones of the image. And this is basically what we've done here. So we've really introduced a little bit more pink to balance out the skin tone a lot more, especially in those shadowed areas. And now I'm going to show you a more fuller version of this. So this is the before, and this is the after. Before and after. I want to also just mention that yes, you can use white balance when it comes to things like this to alter your image if you need to. In this particular image, the white balance was slightly off. Having said that, if you do alter the white balance, it will alter the entire image unless you're masking. So for the most part, I do tend to prefer using the skin tone tab if I can, if I'm really not wanting to make too many adjustments to the rest of the image, as I feel that it works just as well, if not better, than just altering the white balance all the time. Okay guys, so if you liked this tutorial today, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more tutorials on Capture One, I would be happy to do some more for you guys. I am planning on releasing a few more tutorials across Photoshop and Capture One and even Affinity Photo in the next couple of weeks, so please look out for those. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell to see all the videos that I have coming up in future, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!